All right, now that we are working to get to know people and to learn their names and to look for the opportunities that God is placing in our lives to share Jesus, let's talk about how do we get this started? How do we start a conversation about spiritual things? In our culture, there are a couple things that are considered maybe impolite to talk about or to ask somebody about. And what are those? Politics and religion. Why? Because they can be hot button issues. They can cause divisions. And so it has become almost taboo to ask somebody about those things or to broach that subject. But the Bible calls us to be witnesses. We're here to love people, to tell them about Jesus, because the fact of the matter is people need Jesus. And so we must tell them about him and what he's done. So how do we open up conversations? If you have your notes, here are the blanks for add salt to everyday interactions. This is a big deal, okay? These are so good, especially for somebody like me who's a little bit on the introverted side. It starts off with this. S, we got another acronym here. S, say something. You have to start off a conversation by saying something. If we go to the store, say something. If we are sitting in a waiting room, say something. Start a conversation. Say something kind. Open up with a kind comment. Say, hey, I really like that outfit. I don't usually say that to folks. I might say, hey, how are you doing today? What brought you here? You know, I'm here for whatever reason. How are you doing? Where do you work? You can start off with those surface level questions to begin opening up a conversation. Say something. Open your mouth. That's the biggest step in this whole thing. Because if we don't say something, if we stay silent, there will be little to no opportunity to share Jesus. So we got to say something. That's where you start. There's a verse that helps us with this. Proverbs 18:24. This goes along. A man that hath friends must show himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. I love this verse because it's a good reminder. Jesus is our friend. He is the greatest friend. He's our Savior. He's our Lord. There's so many beautiful Bible words that describe our relationship with God. And for us to reach people, we must be friendly. We must be kind people, loving people. Jesus said that that's how people will know that we're his disciples, by our love. So we want to open up and we want to say something. Number 2, ask questions. So SALT, say something, ask questions. Questions are so good to open up conversations. You might ask something like, hey, do you go to church anywhere? Where'd you grow up? How'd you grow up? What do you believe about God? Right? You might take a few of those questions and string them together to move into a deeper conversation. You see, what we're doing here is we're opening up by saying something that might be shallow conversation, if you will, casual conversation. And then we're going to ask questions to get to know folks and to move into a deeper conversation. A great one is, do you go to church anywhere around here? Did you grow up in church? That's a great way to open up a conversation about spiritual things. Ask questions. And in the next video, we're going to go to a section called 5 questions to determine where God is working. And this will help explain a little bit more about asking questions. The next one is listen. Okay, so we're going to say something, we're going to ask questions, and then we're going to listen. This is critical. A lot of folks don't really know how to listen, to stay quiet and to listen to what people are saying and to focus on that person. Too often we want to jump in or interject and talk about ourselves. We ask somebody about them, but then we also want to interject and talk about ourselves. And what we need to do is to listen, and to listen in a couple ways. We want to listen carefully, more than just what people are saying, but even what is not being said. So say we're sitting in a mechanic shop. We're sitting in the waiting room. Your car's getting worked on. You ask somebody, hey, how are you doing? What's up with your car? My transmission blew up. What about yours? Well, I got this going on, and I'm just really hoping that I'm gonna be able to get this thing done because I gotta go pick my kids up from school. You can start listening about them. listening to the things that they're not even saying. So, oh wow. So how old's your child? Ask about their kids. And then you can start, asking about what kind of things they're involved in. Are y'all involved in church? What kind of sports do your kids play? Any clubs or any things that y'all like doing? And obviously, you're not going to ask 5 questions at once because that might come off a little bit like you're prying, and sometimes that can turn people off. But asking questions, listening carefully, and asking good follow-up questions can lead the way into deeper conversation. And then finally, turn. Okay, this is a big one. Turn. So we are going to say something. That's that surface level. We're going to ask questions. That's going to help us move into deeper conversation. Then we're going to listen. Listen for what they're saying. Listen for what they're not saying. Listen for what things are going on in their lives. You'll often find that there's a lot of things that people are dealing with, and you might have the opportunity to encourage them and to point them to Christ. And then turn. Don't forget the most important part. Turn conversations toward the spiritual, toward the things of God. Because if we just have a good conversation, that may not lead to sharing Jesus, but we want to share Jesus with people. So we got to open up those conversations and then ask questions, get a little bit deeper, and turn the conversation to Christ. We're going to delve into this a little bit more in the next video. Take some time to think about the questions that you might ask to delve into spiritual things.